Level Up Latina partners with working women and mamas alike to guide them in achieving fulfilling career and life goals through financial empowerment, professional or leadership coaching, and personal wellness. Find the unique coaching you need to succeed.
You're listening to Vettel, Ceci, and Irene, and we are Level Up Latina.
Welcome back to another episode of the Level Up Latina podcast. This is episode 308. And today it's a little bit of rumors, chisme, and the truth. How there's always truth in the cheese, but then you have to find out, really dig in to know really what the truth is. So we're going to see where this conversation goes. I had sent the girls a little bit of a template to see what we can, qué se nos venía a la mente para platicar in this podcast. But before we start recording it, before we get into the conversation and get into the swing of things, let me check in with Irene and Ceci. ¿Cómo se encuentran, muchachonas?
Muy bien, aquí disfrutando del un lunes.
Yeah, I love Mondays. My husband and I work from home. We're often together on Mondays.
Same.
Mondays. I know in our last podcast, you guys, I got cut off because I accidentally touched something with my the wire on my mic, which is so touchy. And I think it was like me in that last episode, you guys. I was so touchy. It was emotional and beautiful. We were talking about like flexibility and stuff. And I'm like, damn, taking away like those 7 years out of my career and coming back to the workforce, like flexibility is like far. It's like every so often, you know. But I was like, damn, where would I be if that was the case? But, you know, no regrets. I think we're talking about regrets on our también it's in the conversation on our WhatsApp and like, you know, being 21 and like, oh shit, the things I would have done. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't take those 7 years back being away at all. And fuck it, if I have to pay my dues again, ni modo, we pay the dues.
We all pay our dues. Don't get it twisted. We all pay.
I know.
For many years, or my kids were your kids' ages. So the blessings that I have now, the flexibility, I have grown kids. So now I
know
have
what
the
trips me out, Irene?
I didn't have it when they were little.
I think of you in those situations, like the things you've shared with us, just being your friend throughout that time, like las cosas como cambian, ¿verdad? En el sentido de que in these moments when we have little ones or there's these changes that happen, it's like, fuck, am I ever going to get out of this? And the reality is that yes. And that's the beauty, I think, of having people like an Irene in your life. You know, when I think of my sister-in-law in her life, I think of Ada, our friend Ada, and like all the people that we know that have gone through this. And I talk to you more, Irene, than I do them because we happen to do the podcast. But you're also very openly share. I know sometimes it's been hard to share, but you're like, dude, en un punto yo no estaba así, you know, but you just have to keep going with the... It's either you're going to plan it and make it better, and it changes because kids grow up, but then, you know, all the time that you invested is actually for a reason, and it's not just anything.
Yeah. We were just talking about it with the kids because we're going to Guatemala Wednesday, someday soon. And so the last time we've gone, the 5 of us, was during our big trip. But before that, we went when my mother-in-law turned 60. She's turning 70. So that was 10 years ago. It's the first time we got the kids' passports, 10 years ago. And before that, yeah, my kids didn't have passports. We weren't going anywhere when they were 4, 5, and 10. And then the 10 years that have gone on since then, now that I have a 14, 15, and 19-year-old, the level of traveling and life and living and privilege. But I remember how it was like cost prohibitive. I remember feeling like, oh my God, it's expensive to get us all passports to take us all to Guatemala back then. Just in 10 short years, your life changes so much. Because not only are we all going to Guatemala, we all have active passports. I'm flying my kid in from college because I don't want him to miss it. Our life has changed so much, Vero, but I remember how hard that first time it was when we got those passports to take all of us to Guatemala, taking time off, affording it. They were little. Our lives are so different then, and now so much life has lived. I feel like it's been 20 years now.
Me pongo a pensar, ¿y tú, mocoso, para qué chingas ocupas pasaporte? No, ¿dónde vas a ir?
They don't need it.
Where you
they
gonna
don't need
go,
it.
huh? Where you gonna go?
They're going to the park down the street. That's where we spent our time. We went to Vegas for the day when my oldest was like 8.
I'm telling you, man, things change. And it's all good. It's all for the better. It's all good. Everyone, I think the timelines, everything, we're good. It's good. Right now, I'm just really hot. I am sweating bullets, you guys. It's really hot in here. But the conversation for today, it's like around rumors, chisme, and the truth. And what really sparked that conversation to like that idea was... the life we're living right now in the sense of a of course, our immediate government is what made me think of this, right? Like how social media and how our president is, I say our president because I am a member of the United States of America. I'm a citizen. So whether I like it or not, this is a president of the United States at the moment. So I'm going to say our president, even though, we all know how everyone voted. No, we don't know, but it doesn't matter. Point is, that's a rant for another day. So it was very much like, I can't believe that sometimes we go off based off seeing things right online, or we get based off of something we heard about someone, and how easily a rumor or a chisme can become a truth for someone, right? So that's where I kind of wanted this conversation to go, in the sense of like, who else can I talk about this, about this with? Because there's people in my life that just won't. They won't, not that they won't take the bait, but they're just like, I'm not going to engage in that. Es que, vas a pasar 4 años and it's going to be okay. But I know that it's been a challenging, change of power. So I wanted to talk about that, like how rumors and chisme and the truth are intertwined, and how that can affect your truth. So it started off with just seeing things online about our president and the things that are happening consistently on a daily basis. And if you don't know how to look for the truth, te vas a quedar envuelta in this world of chisme. But that also happens in real life, right? Like, yes, it's still real life what we're living with our president and the whole state of our government affairs and all that good stuff. But even in real life, be in your personal, be in your work life, when there's a chisme that comes around or a rumor, we always know there's truth behind it, but how do you make sure you learn the truth, right? So for you ladies, what's something that's been a rumor or a chisme that's been around that you're just like, I cannot accept this as a truth, or I will not, let me delve a little deeper? Or have you been involved into or brought into a rumor or a chisme where you've been like, no, I'm going to be the truth sayer here, and this is where we have to change it up? Has there been any particular situation? It could be recently, or maybe not so recent, but that you've been part of, in that sense, having to have a discussion where like, no, la verdad es esto, or let's find out really behind what's the truth in either personal or work.
I thought of something, like when you asked us to or you told us about the topic, I thought about something. I don't know that it was a chisme that was heard, but I was like, oh, this can come off this way about me at work. A couple years ago when I was looking for I forgot if it was a new paralegal or a new staff attorney, but my prior boss had been gone for some time, and mind you, like we were posting on all the listservs, or where you post Recruiter and all those, like to find a new staff member for my team. And I remember when this person came back, my former boss, and we had an all staff meeting, like she said something along the facts of like, when I was gone, I don't think there was like strong efforts being made to hire someone. And I was like, that kind of comes off like me, right? Like, because I was like the lead of my department, that I wasn't doing enough. And I was like, me quedé como like callada. I didn't say anything because it's all staff meeting. And I was like, me quedé pensando. And then I talked to one of my colleagues. I was like, do you think that's, she's like, he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So I was like, I'm going to talk to her like one-on-one to tell her like, this is how it came off to me. I'm like, so how is that like, how was that projected, or how was that taken by the rest of my colleagues? And she apologized. She's like, no, I did not mean anything by it, like at all. Of course, I know that you're working on it, and, I apologize. And so anyway, I didn't want to bring it to the table right there during the all staff meeting, but I was like, let me tell her like one-on-one when we do a check-in, like that's how I felt and that's how I took it. And then also I didn't want to be seen like, oh, esta ni está haciendo nada para contratar a alguien. So I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it's like a comment, right? Like someone says a comment, like they're building up an idea of who you are, right? But without putting it out there specifically, saying, well, Ceci didn't try hard enough, but como dicen, cuando cae la piedra, like, and it's like, wait, if I'm the one doing it, I think she's talking about me. Why don't you just say it? Like, ask me.
Yeah. And also, it just put that idea in everybody's head.
Right.
Yeah. Why would you say that at the all-staff meeting? That's the thing they should have told you at one-on-one, not at the all-staff, to make it seem like Ceci didn't move the ball. Like, that wasn't cool.
Yeah.
That could be the beginnings of a chisme, right? Because let's say no one addresses it, and at the end they're like, "Do you think Ceci's doing what she should be doing?
Ceci no está
Ceci no está
haciendo
haciendo
nada.
nada.
Yeah.
Oh no, and she's a department head. Oh. So that could start things, right? So where a comment can start a gossip in the workplace, which could be harmful, right? Because then it could be like, well, Ceci just doesn't care, I guess. I recently heard someone. So go ahead, Ceci.
Okay,
I was going to say, when I just said, I don't care, me acordé de algo. So not too long ago, we hired someone new at our shop. And she's, I'm like, we need someone different. Not everyone's going to be the same. And I'm okay with, I want different personalities and all this. So I was like, we're gonna take a risk on this one. Let's go. Not a risk, but like I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna offer the job to this person. They came in, and it's been like a whirlwind in the sense of this person complains a lot and mentions things, and she's like, I can't believe this and I can't believe that and blah blah blah. And this person came to talk to me maybe 3 weeks into, or maybe under the month period, and she's like, hey, is there anything else I can do? And I'm like, at the moment, I don't have anything else that's open. I can't really move you around. Let's get you at your 90-day period. Let's get you full on knowing what your operation's supposed to be, what you were hired to do. And in 90 days, if I have something else, I can start training and developing you in that area. But right now, this is what I have, and this is what we're going to do. Well, then the next day I hear that someone says that they're like, oh yeah, it's just that she doesn't care. She doesn't care. And I'm like, who are they talking about? It was like that person brought it to someone else, and they were sharing how they weren't completely happy with the current position, and they're like, did you talk to Vero? Because Vero has been listening to all of us, and she's made it work. Talk to her. Oh, I did. She doesn't care. And I'm like, dang, that must really suck. The way that someone just said, don't care, and they're like, this is really odd, but what did you tell her? Because they're asking me like, hey, this person said this, and what did you tell her to make her say that? Did you not listen? I'm like, no, I took the time to talk to her, to walk her through this, and no, I never said I didn't care. I just said that in 90 days we can probably review whatever the situation is, and maybe we can start teaching her something else, but I want her to master her position first. And they're like, oh, okay, that's weird. And that's the thing. But the thing is that I had to then address it, right? How did you feel about that? What made you think that, I did hear what your comment that you mentioned, and it's not a personal attack. I just want to understand how I made you feel that I did not care. Is there something else you need from me? What else can I do to make sure you're okay? But así, como que, es que eso no importa. It's an ugly feeling,
That feels nasty. That's literally what I was going to say. That feels nasty.
It's a nasty feeling. What were you going to say, Irene?
Both of you, I was going to say, first of all, that both of you, I love how you also talked about the solution. I don't know if listeners caught that. They probably did. They're wiser than us. But you both talked about how facing it one-on-one, didn't just let it sit. And I think that's really good. That's a great way to deal with rumors or chisme. You don't just sit with it and let it be, because that's how things escalate at work and get worse. You have to pull people in. You have to have those one-on-one sessions. You have to tell people how they made you feel. In Ceci's example, hey, was that for me? Great. That was example, hey, was something taken out of context? Let's discuss it. So not running from a rumor or chisme, I think, is the tip of the day. I know is the tip of the day because it's a good one. My example was going to be that many years ago, when I was on my sabbatical, when I came back from my sabbatical, I had a staff member who was in a pretty decent mid-level position, and they resigned. And we let it be. They resigned. We were a little shocked, my board president and I, that they were resigning. And then we didn't think much of it, but everyone started to act a little weird towards me after they had resigned. So I thought that was interesting. Everyone's a little off-standish with me, a little off-puttish, if I did something wrong. But when people resign, it's they don't hold it against the boss. So then eventually, I'm pretty sure that I brought someone in to ask, what's going on? We don't have to be friends, but something's off. Something's off with energy. Something's off with what's happening. And they're like, oh no, we all heard that you fired so-and-so. And I was like, fired so-and-so? So-and-so left. They resigned. And of course, the person is thinking well, I don't know who to believe. I don't know who to trust. But they were feeling I have to now look out for myself, because if she would come back and fire someone, and that person, they got along well, that person was a good employee, why would she just out of the blue fire this good person that we all got along really well with? So I remember that the person then, did they try to get unemployment? I think they tried to get unemployment. And so we denied it, because when someone resigns, they don't get unemployment. So it was awesome, because there I am having receipts. And I was very strategic in making sure that person saw that I had receipts, and made the commentary that there's no way this person could have gotten fired, because, this couldn't be denied, this claimed. months later, weeks later, I don't know how much later, but my board chair at the time tells me like, she actually had told us to fire you. She wanted your job. You were coming back. She was hoping she could be in your job. I imagine she was embarrassed. She didn't want to work with you any longer. It's almost, she was doing this kind of as a retaliation to the board. Like the board didn't want to put her in the position. All that drama was going on. I had no idea.
Wow.
Maybe even embarrassed. Maybe she was even embarrassed that like they didn't give her the job. She pitched herself. She wanted me to get fired. And I think that outgoing board president wanted to like give me the lowdown. Like, by the way, that person left and they left for their reasons, but they were also trying to get you fired and it was bigger than you realized. The only thing that I felt in that moment was however it went down, I didn't know what I didn't need to know, and things that are done in the darkness always come to light. So eventually I could put all the pieces together, but it did sting when it hurt like my immediate reputation with the staff. And it hurt when I felt like the staff felt like, oh, she's a snake in the grass. She can fire us. This can, we don't trust her like we used to. Like hurting trust is terrible in the workplace. So I'm glad that it all cleaned itself up and everything worked out. And flash forward, funny enough, this group of people that are all involved, we're all friends. We're all very good friends. We all like survived that. And we all have forgiven that moment in time and how that went down. We maintained those relationships of people that used to work together, had that blip in the radar where it's like, you're resigning. That's cool. No, I didn't fire you. Why do you think I fired them? And years later, oh, they tried to get me fired. Oh my God, it was a mess. It was a mess. But the good news is that, again, receipts are receipts and one-on-ones are good. And in my particular case, I'm glad that I pulled someone in to be like, what's off? Like something's off. Like I didn't know what the rumor was. I didn't know what the chisme was. And they're like, well, we heard you fired so-and-so. And I feel a certain sort of way. I fired them. It was funny because I even had a resignation letter. How do you have a resignation letter for someone you fired? All of it was just not mathing. But I like that it happened in a lot of ways because like adversity builds friendships, it builds connection, it builds trust. I almost feel like we were just talking about that in the earlier podcast. That adversity actually probably propelled me even further with my team because there was so much of like, man, these things, people try to chop her down or things happen behind the scenes. Like she's an innocent bystander and still handling it, still processing it, still working through it, still here. But chisme's hard. Rumors are hard. And if you don't deal with it and if you take it personal, imagine taking it personal. Or if you want to get vengeance, then nada me sirve, right? Then nada me sirve. So I just let the chips fall where they're going to fall and let those people deal with themselves if for whatever reason they had to make up a story that turned out to be false. It's hard. It's really hard. But in all of our examples, we all had a one-on-one check-in to try to clean it up. And people had one-on-one check-ins with us. I really appreciate that outgoing president who was like, trying to get you fired. I'm like, dang. All right. And that person never gossiped. Never gossiped as an attorney by trade. So I felt he was very, very strategic if he ever told me anything that was like gossip. So I thought, wow, he wants me to know what happens behind the scenes and to be careful. Look, it says his big old smile. What? Am I saying something good about attorneys?
It's because you guys froze on my end momentarily, and then I was like, what happened? And then, I heard your voice, but Vero was frozen with con su cara así sorprendida.
I thought you were like countering me, like, oh no, lawyers somos unos chismosos.
No, we are. Los lawyers somos unos chismosos, okay? Sí, and I can attest to that. Yo soy bien chismosa. My colleagues somos chismosos. My prior colleagues, we say it all.
I think it's an issue though because I don't think it's an issue. I think it's with you because with your colleagues because you guys are Latino lawyers and
that's true.
You guys have to delve into the information to find the
truth. But even with my prior colleagues que no son Latinos, también we were like, oh my God, esto que el otro, at the workers' comp.
You guys know how to dig. It's part of your career.
I guess so.
You know how to get down to it. You want to figure out every detail. You want to dig.
Who doesn't dig though?
No, always,
5 whys. Why?
Why? Get down to the why.
No. Is there a tip that you guys can probably give in the sense of when it comes to workplace, right? Because sometimes it can ruin your reputation, these chismes, these gossips, unless you get down to the nitty gritty. But maybe like a practical tip to how to protect yourself and maintain professionalism when rumors start. I think what you said, Irene, was like, don't take it personal, and is a good tip. Like, don't take it personal and take a step back.
I think it's so hard, Vero, but I do think it's the opposite of earlier. Like, I think correct publicly and broadly with the group, right? Bad things that are general. Things that are one person doing something that, quote unquote, bad, isn't working, bad for the culture. You got to deal with that one-on-one. You have to be willing to coach those people one-on-one and not let it go and be consistent with them and document. But also you have to be able to talk to the greater team publicly about things that are not going to work in your culture. So if you ever have to come to a point like in an organization and come, like there's a lot of gossip going around and just want to, whatever the stories are, talk about that gossip is not part of our culture, right? Like to globally say to someone in a group, we're not going to get into the specifics, but this is happening and this isn't okay, for instance, right? But if you know there's like, say, two people gossiping about each other, rolling their eyes at each other, so they have like a conflict, for instance, like conflicts are common at where people don't like each other. Then you deal with those people one-on-one, and you call it what it is. Then you say like, you should not have rolled your eyes, or you should not breathe like that. You're breathing like, like te cae gorda, and I can tell. We gonna have to keep the breathing.
Look, you fire breathing dragon. You need to keep that outside of this, okay?
Exactly. But see, other people aren't stupid. And they also don't know that you're having those one-on-one coaching conversations. So then you, I think, need to publicly, and I've said it before on the podcast, but as a leader, like publicly allude to some of these things and how you're addressing them and how you're doing it for the greater good for everyone, whatever the thing may be. Like, and reminding people, like, you're not going to know the inner workings. A leader shouldn't tell you what they're doing behind the scenes. You're not going to know. But what you need to know, we're letting you know right now. We're handling that. We're dealing with that. I think that's one piece of advice, like dealing with things that need to be dealt with globally, if it's getting out of hand, with respect and enough confidentiality. But also dealing with things one-on-one. Like, so the person who has been gossiping or has been the problem or has had the tension, they know you're talking about them. Like, they know, oh, she's not just talking to the crowd and hoping I pick it up. She's telling me that I'm the problem. I think there's two separate things, and it takes like a certain kind of leadership experience or just confidence.
Thank you. Ceci, any tip?
I second that. And also, you know, Irene alluded to it, like have the receipts. Like in the case of like, you know, in Irene's case, like they're saying that I fired her, aquí está su resignation letter, like la dio. And then in my case, it's like, oh, it came off as maybe I wasn't doing anything, but like I've been posting nonstop y aquí está like en el LinkedIn lo que había puesto. And it's like, we've been interviewing people, but it just wasn't a good fit at the time. And I can't forget again, si fuera un staff attorney o fue un paralegal, maybe it was a paralegal, but
you know what would be extra? Like if you had the extra set of balls, and I don't always have them. We don't always have them. But imagine if you would have like, because questions always get people. If you ask the right questions, right? Because they're also sometimes speaking nonsense. But imagine, Ceci, if you would have stopped and be like, wait, what do you mean by that? Have her answer what she means by that. Because you felt like that was an attack on me. Like, so you're not going to, that sounds a little like, I'm taking it personal. No, let's just clarify what they mean by that. And maybe, you never know. Like we also assume when we don't know, that person could be like, I meant to coach and give you guys a way to do it, and I had like a template and I never did it. Like maybe they tell themselves and it's like super innocent, and they're like mad at themselves for not being there, and they're like, okay, cool, I don't have to get hot. It's not about me. Or maybe they say, well, Ceci, you know, I really wish at this point you could already, and then Ceci could have been receipt time. Like, oh, but I thought that with 600 posts, 27 interviews, 3, you know, then you sort of like, it's a little petty. It's a little petty, but receipts can also be delivered respectfully.
Right.
If the person is saying it's, and I don't think people will have the audacity to be like, it's you, but if they are, then it's like, oh, I didn't think it was me because of these things. And you have the, oh, wow, I thought my pace was working because of these things. Like, again, trying to just speak to it openly because it's fair, asking questions. And sometimes when you ask questions, you find like your assumptions are wrong and it may not be about you. Asking questions is really good.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to answer your question with a question, actually.
Yeah. That's tough, though, too. Don't do it too much. My husband is the king of that. Oh, God. It drives me crazy.
I know. Unless you want to drive someone crazy, then take the time and be like, well,
yes, Vero. A question with the question with the question with the question is crazy, too.
What I'll say to protect yourself and maintain professionalism when rumors start, just really take a moment, let it process. And then if it's not right, then I would say, where did you hear that? Who mentioned that to you? And then you skip everybody around, right? And you go to that person and be like, hey, clarify immediately. And don't take it personal. Like, we don't know what people are going through. When Irene was talking about the person being, you know, resigning, saying that he got fired, I would have been so petty and would have written fire on the resignation letter, you know? Just and be like, here it is. Here it is. Okay, yes, you're right. They resigned and I fired them.
They did me the favor
because I was about to fire them because they suck. I always turn into something funny in my head because I think it makes it easier for me to process, right? But I would say don't take it personal and don't rush into like just defensive mode, because I think that we want to protect who we are, our reputation, our name, because we darn well know what we stand for and what we do. And I said, just cool off and then address not the persona, you know, saying the chisme, but okay, where'd you hear that? And who would have said that? Oh, okay, good to know. And then that person, you know, once you've processed it and they don't get a punch in the nose, then you go, hey, I want to talk to you. I heard that you were saying something like this. Did you need some additional information? Do you need me to clarify for you? Or why would you say that? What makes you think I don't care, right? What makes you think I don't care about what you mentioned? So It's taking the step back. It's being grown up. It's being an adult, because we're going to face those kind of things no matter what. And things can be taken, our words can be misconstrued. We know what we mean, and someone else can just change it up, but it happens.
Vero, can I address the not caring thing? I think the not caring thing is interesting because it's like a huge assumption on people's part. My husband and I really learned this a lot through in working together as a couple. Like, he now says, I can see how my actions may have made it seem like I didn't care, but I did care all along. So that's an interesting thing. Like, people just see what they see. Not that this is happening to you. I don't know, like, the actions behind your story. But, like, if my husband would forget everything, he'd forget everything. So I felt like, man, he's so inconsiderate. He's not being thoughtful. He forgot again. He did that again. It started to feel like intentional. Like, he's doing that to me again. Like, you're late again, or whatever the thing he would do, right? And then I'd be like, you just don't care. How dare you say that? I care so much. Whatever. I took the day off. I'm here for the parent-teacher meeting or whatever. I'd be like, you're late. You were late last time. That one time you didn't even show up because you were late and you were in traffic. So then I would say, he put all those things together and he's like, you're right. I guess it does look like I didn't care. I was late twice. I missed one because of traffic. I didn't communicate with you. It seems like I don't care. Of course I care. I'm here. So then learning to communicate with each other, which to me appeared like him not caring, is some other action on his part. And no, he did care, but I didn't know what was going on. Like, I didn't know why he was late again, or why he was in traffic, or why it wasn't on his calendar. So we learned through the years to be like, how I see something as not caring is not true. So I think with employees, it's important to be like, they don't have the whole picture. They don't know a person's life. They're seeing actions and they don't know the whole story behind those actions. And they've been making assumptions on those actions. And that's poor social intelligence. Your ability to know that as a person, like your interpersonal skills. You can't make assumptions. You can't just say, I don't care. Like, you don't have all the facts. You don't have all the facts. You're just making an assumption on they don't care. And I think that really helped my husband. And I'd be like, let me get the facts. And then I can make an assumption, or make an actual, not assumption, but an actual conclusion that is based on facts. And it really, really helped us, because he would acknowledge when it came across as he wasn't caring, but that's the last thing he felt. He was a very caring, very thoughtful person. It was things that looked a certain way that weren't meant to fall that way. And then the worst thing is comparison is the thief of joy, because I would never forget. My calendar, I'd be like, I'm never stuck in traffic. I left an hour early to make it, and moms do that a lot in relationships. Moms, we put all this weight on ourselves. We can't be late. He might be late. I have to know. I have to pack. So we're like almost like in this race of being perfect. And so dads get to drop the ball here, drop the ball there. And it's like, oh, he doesn't care, but I care. I overly care. That shit's going to drive you crazy. That happens in work. Because people want you to care the way they care. You guys are different people, right, Vero? Like, that person may think caring looks like you set them down and did an hour of therapy with them. That's not how you show care. That may not work for you, right?
Yeah.
She
probably wanted me to change her position right then and there. You know what? If she cared, she would have given me a different job. But
no, hell fucking no. That's not how it works. You can't come in here and complain and be like, the only way I believe that you care is because you gave me what I want. That's not how it works.
It's so trippy, because when the people around you, I haven't been working here for long. I'm doing my 8th month. I started in December, so 9 months. I'm like, my pregnancy at work is almost over. So like, from the people I've worked with, that's why when they heard her saying this, they were like, talk to Vero. Let her know how you feel. So when she talked to me and I was like, hey, I'd love to be able to give you something else, but this is why I hired you. This is what we discussed. And, kind of explained that, like, at least let's get through these 90 days and let's see what we can do from there. She went back and she's like, she doesn't care. And so that's why they were like surprised. Like, what do you mean? Of all people, we finally have someone that has helped build up our morale and has really given us what we need. And then she all of a sudden, like, that's what they were concerned. Like, what did you tell them? What did you do? Are you really evil in there? But it's just trippy. But you're right. It's kind of, they don't have the whole perspective. They don't have the whole view. And we can't just drop things at the matter of how. It reminds me of those reels, like when that are new, like maybe they come onto my algorithm because I'm a mom and I'm always like, how do I make time to do all this stuff? But it says when your kids go up to you, or when someone goes up to you, you just drop everything. Vamos, mami, me llevas a la tienda. Sí, vámonos.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that.
Not real.
I think you sent it to us.
But it's like, just imagine how funny. It was like, oh, sí, como no. Aquí te doy nuevo trabajo.
Sí, ahorita.
Okay, you know what? I'll give you my position. Here you go. You happy? Like, it
doesn't work that way.
So it's how, and the thing is that it's also, I had to take a step back. I'm like, well, how did I address that person? But I'm like, I made sure, hey, let's not talk right now. Give me a few minutes when I finish this, So it's just everyone, cada quien es un mundo, and they're going to receive the information differently. But yeah, I mean, we can only do our best. And if we need to re-clarify or need to take the time to clarify and kind of delve deeper, then we'll do that. But
and also, Vero, you don't have to be everybody's friend.
Exactly.
Like, you were hired to do a job. You don't like that job. Then maybe this isn't the right place for you. Then like, damn, they are cutthroat and they don't care.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not going to change everyone's job. Imagine, of course, you would have changed your job. Your job would have been 100% remote.
Girl.
Like, the world doesn't work that way, my friend. Like, well, you can just come and complain and not do your job that's on your job description.
The funny thing is I had a follow-up later, right? Maybe up to 2 weeks after. And I heard they was still happening. So I'm like, you know what? Oh, no, I heard I need a day off from this place. And I'm like,
I hate that bullshit.
And I go, oh my God, don't we all? Doesn't work suck? Just whatever.
Good job.
And then they're like, and they just look at me like, I just need time. I need a day off. And I'm like, you know what? Give me a second. So I go into the other office like, hey, can you guys cover this this area for a moment? I'm going to have a conversation. And I pulled the person aside and I go, you know what? I like you. I think you're good at what you do. But I don't think you like being here, or am I wrong? And it was one of those, like, tell me for real, like, what's going on? And then it was one of those conversations, like, they were in tears, and they're like, it's my personal life. I go, you know what? Do you have anyone in your personal life to talk to? Do you have anyone there? Yes. Okay, good. Because if you ever need anything, let me know, but you have someone to talk to. Think about it. I'm like, it's hard to tell someone leave your problems at the door because life is life. We're not leaving our other self outside. It's like we're one person and life is within us. The experiences, we're bringing them in. So I can't tell you leave them at the door, but I do hope you have someone to talk to. And I hope things get better. But here at work, I need you. You're client facing, you're doing this, and I need you to give them, have them feel appreciated.
Peor, their client facing.
Yeah.
Their client facing is peor.
So.
Girl, the crazy part too is like, imagine if you said what you were really thinking. How about those reels? If you said what you're really thinking, you'd be like, well, I know you got problems, pero a mí no me amargues la vida. That's what I'm thinking. In my head, I'm thinking, a mí no me amargues la vida. And in my corporate speak, I'm thinking, how do I find you support outside of the workplace? Mm-hmm, yeah, this is heavy. I get it. We'll find you some support outside of this space. We don't want it to be misconstrued. We don't want your coworkers. And suddenly, bitch, we don't want to go through this shit because of you.
Are you kidding me? Are you fucking serious? I hear you. But yeah, I mean, I know it went from one thing to another, and it was, the chismes can happen. Just always take the time to find the truth when you're looking into information, no matter what, in your personal life, what's the news, things that happen in the world, if it's, workplace. Take your time, slow it down, ask questions, and get the truth, And there's a saying, right, about the truth. It's a mix between this, and it's in the middle or something like that. So you're going to get both sides of the story, and the truth is somewhere in between. Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, if there's your side, my side, and the truth.
There you go.
The truth is in the middle.
I'm going to get that
side,
tattoo.
My side, and the truth. Yeah, it's true. It's very, very true. That's what I was trying to explain in 50 words earlier when I was saying about my husband not caring. There's my side, his side, and then there's the truth.
There you go.
Right?
So amen to that. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to another podcast of the Level Up Latina. We are back and in full effect until the holidays, at least. But we are good to go. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. If there's a chisme out there or that you finally got dug down to you want to share and dug down to the truth, y que resultó, share it with us. We'll be happy we want to see it. Put it in our DMs, send it in Facebook, send us an email to admin@leveluplatina.com. You can also check out everything we're doing. If you still, we're in the second week of the collective. If you still want to join the collective, there's time. This is a 5-week collective, so you're still some time, 75 minutes in. You'll get the recording from the last week. So whatever it is, join us. If you can't make it to this collective, maybe you'll join us in the next one. But I want to thank you. If you want to learn all about Level Up Latina, go to leveluplatina.com. Se les agradece. Thank you so much, Ceci Irene, for taking this hot Monday to spend on a Wednesday recording with everyone. So thanks so much, ladies.
Bravo. Gracias.
Gracias.
Don't be the chismosas.